Welcome back. In our last explainer, we went deep into how Alexa hears you, but today we're going a step further. We're going inside its brain to see how it thinks. We're going to pull back the curtain on that incredible process that turns a few spoken words into a real-world action. So, just as a quick recap, it all starts with the wake word. That's the key that opens the door to the cloud. And once you're there, a system called automatic speech recognition takes the sound of your voice and just flattens it into plain old text. But, that's really just the first domino to fall. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How does a simple string of letters, P-L-A-Y-M-U-S-I-C, actually become a song filling your room? This is where the magic happens. This is where we leap from just recognizing words to actually understanding what you mean. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to see how Alexa figures out what you really want. Then we'll meet this massive team of specialists it has on call. We call them skills. We'll see how it picks the absolute best one for the job, then take a tour of its huge knowledge library, and finally, we'll watch it turn all that thinking into doing. Okay, let's dive right into that first big leap. We're moving from just hearing sounds, from just processing text, to actually understanding meaning. This is the job of something called natural language understanding, or NLU for short. And its entire purpose is to figure out your true intention. And this slide really nails the whole challenge. On one side, you've got the raw data, the letters, P-L-A-Y. But on the other side, you have the human goal. You want to hear some music. Everything we're about to talk about is designed to build a bridge across that gap. So let's talk about how Alexa actually gets things done. It's not one single giant brain that knows everything. Nope. It's much more like a conductor leading a massive orchestra. Each musician is a specialist, an expert in one thing. And in Alexa's world, these experts are called skills. Now, to get your request to the right specialist, the NLU basically becomes a grammar teacher. It dissects your sentence into two fundamental parts. First, you've got the intent. That's the verb, the action you want to do, like book ride. Then you have the slots. Those are the nouns, all the specific details, like your destination is the airport. And this is where it gets really elegant. Our messy, natural way of talking gets translated into this perfectly organized, logical structure. Your spoken words, the utterance, that's the trigger. This kicks off an intent, which is basically the system saying, okay, I need to do this. The slots fill in the crucial details. And if anything's missing, well, the dialogue manager steps in like an interrogator to get the rest of the story. And you've probably experienced this yourself. You say something like, book a ride. The system gets the intent, but it immediately knows, hey, I'm missing a key piece of information, the destination. So it just asks you, where would you like to go? You answer, and boom, all the slots are filled. The task is ready to go. It's a really simple, conversational way of getting all the info it needs. But hold on, with literally thousands and thousands of skills available, how in the world does Alexa pick the right one, especially when you don't call it out by name? Well, this is where a really complex process called arbitration comes in, and frankly, it's one of the hardest problems to solve in voice AI. I mean, think about it for a second. You just say, play sounds. What does that even mean? Do you want relaxing rain sounds, the hustle and bustle of a city? Maybe you want to hear whale songs? This is the core challenge of what's called name-free interaction. The whole point is that you shouldn't have to be a tech nerd to use your tech. The tech should be smart enough to figure you out. Okay, so the selection process begins with this really clever two-step filter. First, Alexa asks all the potential skills. Do you even understand what the user is talking about? So a surf report skill might say, oh yeah, I know Nebraska's a place. But then comes the second crucial question. Okay, but can you actually do it? And that's where the surf skill has to say, nope, no ocean in Nebraska. It's a brilliant way to weed out all the irrelevant options right off the bat. So after that first big cut, a super smart ranking system called HyperRank takes over. And this is cool because it's not just about what you said, it's about you. What are your personal habits? What skills do you tend to use? What kind of device are you talking to? It crunches all of this data to make an educated guess about which skill is most likely to make you happy. And here is my favorite part. If it's a really close call, if two or more skills look like a good match, Alexa doesn't just flip a coin. It has a safety valve. It basically raises its hand, admits it's not 100% sure, and asks you to be the tiebreaker. So, for example, if you say, play Cheers, are you talking about the classic TV show theme song? Or are you trying to find a sound effect for a celebratory toast? Instead of just guessing and probably being wrong, Alexa will just ask you a simple, natural question to clarify. It puts you right back in control. All right, so that's how Alexa does things. But what about when it just needs to know things? When you ask it a question, it turns to this massive internal library, which is kind of split into two very different departments with two very different personalities. I love this analogy. On one side, you've got the knowledge graph. Think of this as the super organized, no-nonsense librarian. It's all about structured, verified facts and the relationships between them. Then, on the other side, you have a large language model, and this is more like a creative storyteller. It's amazing at weaving words together, at sounding natural, and at providing context. So, how do you get the best of both worlds? Well, with this brilliant technique called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. It's a simple, powerful idea. Before the storyteller, the LLM, is allowed to say anything, it's forced to go consult the librarian, the knowledge graph. This ensures that the beautiful, fluent answers you get are also grounded in cold, hard facts. It keeps the storyteller from just making things up. Now for the grand finale, the last piece of the puzzle. How does all of this internal thinking, all this number crunching in the cloud, actually do something in the real world? This is where the AI grows a hand and actually starts to interact with your environment. For simple tasks, it acts like a universal remote control. Your command gets translated into a standardized message. It's called a directive. That message gets sent over to the device manufacturer's cloud, and they're the ones who translate it into a signal your light bulb can actually understand. See, Alexa doesn't need to be an expert on every light bulb in the world. It just needs to know how to talk to the light bulb's boss. But for bigger, more complicated requests, Alexa assembles a whole team of specialized AI agents. Let's say you ask it to plan a date night. A supervisor agent first breaks that big goal down into smaller chunks. Then a search agent goes and finds movie times, a reservation agent books a table at a nearby restaurant, and finally a coordinator agent takes all those pieces and stitches them together into one seamless plan for you. And this is a massive leap forward. It's the difference between a simple command follower and a genuine problem solver. Alexa isn't just mindlessly executing orders anymore. It's starting to understand your higher-level goals and figuring out the best way to achieve them on its own. So there you have it. We've traced the entire journey, all the way from a single spoken word to a decision to a real-world action. But notice something interesting here. This entire incredible, complex system is reactive. It's always just waiting for one thing, for you to give it a command. But what if it didn't have to wait? What if it could start to anticipate your needs? What if your smart home was finally smart enough to start thinking for itself? Join us next time for the final part of our journey, where we explore the incredible future of proactive AI. You don't want to miss it.